Are you curious about how Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera, the infamous drug lord, became one of the world's richest men? El Chapo's life story reads like a Hollywood movie, with tales of luxury jets, private zoos, and a naked escape through an elaborate tunnel with his mistress. But who was El Chapo, and how did he become so rich and powerful? How rich was he? El Chapo was the jefe of the all-powerful Sinaloa Cartel, the godfather of the drug world, responsible for trafficking tons of drugs into the United States. He is a killer responsible for untold suffering, and if he spent the rest of his life in prison, it would be something like justice. However, his capture has done nothing to alleviate the American drug problem, and his conviction could be likewise regarded as meaningless. Forbes ranked him as one of the most powerful people in the world between 2009 and 2013, while the Drug Enforcement Administration estimated that he matched the influence and wealth of Pablo Escobar. So if you're ready to learn more about the man and the legend that is El Chapo, join me for this exciting and informative journey into the heart of the world's most infamous drug cartel. Joaquin Archibaldo Guzman Loera, better known as El Chapo, may have started life in a small rural community in Sinaloa, Mexico, but he was destined for much bigger things. Despite growing up in poverty and dropping out of school after the 3rd grade, El Chapo was determined to make something of himself. He helped his father with work as a cattle rancher and opium poppy farmer, but also showed a mischievous side by playing practical jokes on friends and family. As a teenager, he joined forces with his cousins to cultivate their own marijuana plantation, which he used to support his family. However, this led to conflict with his father, who eventually kicked him out of the house. Undeterred, El Chapo joined organized crime and became known for much more than his physical appearance. His rise to power is a testament to his determination and willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed, even in the face of adversity. The rise of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman in the Mexican drug trade is marked by ambition and violence. He started as a low-level drug runner, but his violent approach and ambition caught the attention of the leaders of the Guadalajara cartel. He worked his way up to become the head of logistics, coordinating drug shipments from Colombia to Mexico by land, air, and sea. In the mid-1980s, the U.S. government increased law enforcement surveillance, and the Colombian cartels gave more control to their Mexican counterparts. However, the DEA was conducting undercover work in Mexico, and the kidnapping, torture, and killing of one of its agents in 1985 led to a massive manhunt and the arrest of Guzman's boss, Felix Gallardo. Guzman took advantage of the internal crisis to gain ground within the cartel and formed the Sinaloa Cartel, which controlled drug trafficking on the Pacific coast. Despite his success, Guzman's life was marked by violence and danger, and he was eventually arrested, escaped from prison, recaptured, extradited to the U.S., and convicted on drug trafficking charges. Here are some of the jaw-dropping possessions El Chapo acquired during his career. Dodge Charger, $33,000. Throughout his career, El Chapo made deliberate efforts to taunt law enforcement and evade capture. One notable example was his custom-made Dodge Charger, which infuriated law enforcement officers upon its release. The vehicle was intentionally designed to resemble an authentic American police cruiser without the police identification number on the side. El Chapo commissioned this car to evade the authorities during prolonged car chases, which proved successful for a significant period. Diamond-encrusted pistol, $50,000. It's hardly surprising that El Chapo has ammunition silos spread out globally, but his favorite weapon is a diamond-encrusted pistol, which also shows his fondness for jewelry. He always carried this firearm. The creator of this gun still remains unknown, and comparable firearms have been sold for around $50,000. During his latest arrest, El Chapo had his diamond-studded gun on him, which is now in possession of the U.S. government. However, since it's legally registered under his name, they'll have to return it to him if he's ever released. Nissan Skyline GTR, $110,000. El Chapo enjoys driving fast, not only when he's on the run from authorities, but also for recreation. To satisfy this interest, he purchased a 2007 Nissan Skyline GTR, powered by a V6 engine that can produce up to 478 horsepower. Interestingly, the silver model in Paul Walker's Too Fast, Too Furious film is identical to El Chapo's car. It's no surprise that El Chapo chose this particular car since he has expressed his admiration for the movie. The cost of the car is unknown, as with many of his prized possessions, but similar models have sold for as much as $110,000. Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, $300,000. This luxurious silver vehicle from Mercedes-Benz is truly remarkable. The SLS AMG boasts an impressive and shiny design with unparalleled speed capabilities that surpass those of other automobiles. With over 600 horsepower, it is considered one of the fastest sports cars globally. It has sleek gull-wing doors, which are useful in urgent situations, such as quick getaways or fending off criminals attempting to steal valuable possessions. This car was seized by authorities during the arrest of El Chapo and will remain in their possession. Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, $1.5 million. Spending $1.5 million on a mansion is beyond the imagination of many, let alone spending the same amount on a car, which can be perplexing, but not for El Chapo. El Chapo's McLaren, painted in bright white and boasting 557 horsepower, wasn't enough for him. Thus, he commissioned Rentec to build him a custom car with up to 722 horsepower. It's hard to conceive a situation where such speed is necessary, but El Chapo's reality is vastly different. Moreover, he added a unique aeronautical exterior to the car to increase its speed. Private ranch in Guadalajara, $1.9 million. According to popular belief, El Chapo is believed to possess a ranch or an estate in every state of the United States, and also in most countries in Central and South America. One of his private ranches in Guadalajara is valued at almost $2 million, but the exact amount he paid for it is uncertain. Comparable ranches in the area have been sold for $1.9 million. The ranch is equipped with private tennis courts and swimming pools, and is rumored to have tunnels that El Chapo constructed for his escape. Hence the nickname Hideout Mansion is quite fitting, as he enters and leaves the location unnoticed. La Tuna Mansion, $2.2 million. Another confirmed property is the mansion he owns in La Tuna, Mexico. He acquired this land to construct a home for his mother in his hometown, ensuring she lived comfortably. However, it is ironic that a federal correctional facility is situated in La Tuna, given the number of gunfights that occurred at the estate, resulting in fatalities for both El Chapo's associates and residents. The estate, a crucial component of El Chapo's drug empire, is famously known as the Golden Triangle, and its location was a clear mockery of federal authorities. Private zoo, $5 million. El Chapo's vast estates and mansions are not enough to satisfy his desires. He constructed his own personal zoo simply because he wanted one. Situated in Acapulco near the coast, the zoo houses a variety of exotic animals, including lions, tigers, and crocodiles. El Chapo always ensures that his zoo is well supplied with panthers, tigers, and lions, as he is deeply fascinated by these magnificent big cats. Moreover, he has installed a miniature train that travels through the zoo, allowing visitors to observe the animals in their unnatural habitats. Acapulco Beach House, $10 million. Before constructing his zoo, El Chapo erected a lavish beach house on the Acapulco coast. The property boasts a private beach, which allows him and his guests to unwind without fearing any interference from rival drug lords. Additionally, the expansive house features tennis courts and swimming pools. Despite several visitors, very little is known about the interior, as El Chapo has prohibited any photographs or media coverage of the property. It is worth noting that El Chapo's beach house is his only asset whose value is publicly known. Yacht El Chapito, $275 million. According to reports, El Chapo allegedly possesses fleets of submarines, freighters, and private planes to transport his drugs and cash across the globe. In contrast, El Chapo only publicly acknowledges owning his yacht, which he fittingly named El Chapito after himself as a nod to his larger-than-life persona. The yacht, worth a staggering $275 million, is consistently docked in Acapulco, close to both his zoo and beach house. It has been speculated that he would throw exclusive parties on the yacht, inviting numerous models and other guests for days on end. Carbon fiber super stealth plane, $929 million. This happens to be El Chapo's most extravagant purchase known. With this aircraft, he effortlessly traveled around the globe with his drugs and cash in tow. The plane's design renders it invisible to both commercial and local radar, thanks to its carbon fiber coating. El Chapo employed a personal pilot for the exclusive use of this stealth plane, which is solely reserved for his private travels. El Chapo in custody. Guzman's success in the drug trade was due to his innovative tactics, such as using distribution cells and long-range tunnels near borders to smuggle drugs into the United States and Europe, which made him one of the most powerful people in the world between 2009 and 2013. Despite being captured and imprisoned multiple times, he was able to escape twice, once in 2001 and again in 2015, when associates dug a tunnel into his jail cell. He was recaptured by Mexican authorities in 2016 following a shootout and was extradited to the United States. In 2019, Guzman was found guilty of all 10 criminal charges against him, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit murder, and was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. He is currently incarcerated at ADX Florence, a supermax prison known for its strict security measures and isolation, where he will likely spend the rest of his life. Thank you for joining me in exploring the story of El Chapo and his riches.